Should you buy the Apple iPad Mini 6 2023? Yeah, we got to go ahead and talk about this one. Let's get it. What's up, y'all? Tight Shirt Terry Warfield back for another video. Hey, I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Remember to be thankful for your life today because you did not have to have that. Before we get into the meat potatoes, two things. Number one, I don't script videos. If I mess up, your boy just mess up. Number two, we actually gonna take a break from cameras, as you kind of heard in the intro. We're gonna talk about the iPad Mini 6 today. Now, I test out a lot of iPads and computers, etc., and I gotta say that the iPad Mini 6 is my favorite iPad ever. So we can get into the meat potatoes now because I think in 2023, you should still buy this thing, and I got a bunch of reasons why. Now, Apple has not come out with another iPad mini since this one, and that was at the end of 2021, and here we are in 2023, and we got all of these other new iPads. We got a new 11-inch, we got a new 12.9-inch, M1, M2, M14, all this other crazy stuff, and here we are still with the 2021 iPad Mini 6, but I don't necessarily think that is a bad thing, because in 2023, this thing still holds its weight. So you can get this usually on sale for like $399. It's $450 regular price for the 64 gigabyte version. I wish that they would come out with like a 128 gigabyte version. That's my biggest problem with this lineup, but neither here nor there. You could get a 64 gigabyte one, like I said, for like $399 on Amazon. It's a great value for what it provides. Let's start with the negative things first, and there's two major elephants in the room. Three, I just talked about one, and that's the storage option. So there's only a 64 and a 256 gigabyte iPad. Apple, what are we supposed to do with that? 64 is barely enough to run basic stuff on here, and I actually had a problem updating to the last firmware because I didn't have enough freaking storage. So 64, if you're gonna do like no video editing, no photo editing, and only gonna be browsing and stuff like that, then it'll be fine. But if you're gonna run like games and edit 4K video and edit tons of photos like I do and stuff on the iPad, 64 gigabytes is literally not enough. And you might say, Terry, why didn't you just get the 256 gigabyte version? Well, that's true, but then we talk about increased cost. The next thing that I really dislike about this iPad, and I've learned to deal with it, and it's honestly not that big of a deal, but I'm a tech snob, so it is what it is, and that is the display. All right, is the display bad on the iPad Mini 6? No. I mean, as you see, it's decent, but it is 60 hertz and it is a LCD display. So in 2023, when all of my other devices are running OLED panels with 120 hertz, sometimes, and not sometimes, it is jarring. Going back from like my Z Fold 3 right here, which is 120 hertz, it's a beautiful display. And then going back to pick up the iPad Mini, yes, it's very jarring, but is it unusable? That answer is no. The display is color accurate. It gets bright enough. I wish it did get a little bit brighter, but for indoor uses, I'm typically using it inside. It's bright enough. The colors look good and the display looks good. Just don't expect to get like Apple's ProMotion and all of that stuff built into it. But at the end of the day, it's not like their top of the line flagship tablets, so I'm willing to give it a pass for that. But y'all definitely got to come rawer than that on the next generation. And honestly, those are my major gripes with it. So let's move on to the things I really love about the iPad Mini 6, and this is why I think you should still buy one. Number one, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, there is not another device like it. I have found, and I got a comparison like usability wise between this and the iPad. I'll put that right up there, okay? But what I found is, for me, portability and usability with this is unmatched with any other iPad. I found the 11-inch iPad a little bit too large, and then the 12.9-inch was like a freaking cookie sheet, and I don't want to carry that around everywhere. So what I found for me is that the size is perfect. It's a little bit bigger than the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but it's not as big as the 11-inch iPad Pro, and it sits right in the middle. And most of all, you can hold it with one hand. That's what I really like about this. You can hold the tablet in one hand and it doesn't feel too top heavy. It doesn't feel like it's gonna fall. And I just really like that. You can slip it into a backpack, book bag, whatever, some pockets if you got pockets that are large enough. But it's the size for me that's really the key selling feature, to get all of this in a small package. And it almost feels like iOS, even though I don't like how much padding is on the side. It feels like it's more optimized for smaller tablets than it is for the bigger tablets, but that's just me. Now, the next thing I really enjoy is the speakers. The speakers actually sound incredible on this iPad for it to be so small because it's got stereo speakers. So okay, I ain't gonna do a test on camera because y'all not gonna be able to hear how good it is, but the speakers are really, really good on this. The next thing I really love is just how much processing power it has. Now, I know Apple's moved on to M1 chips and M2 chips and all that overkill stuff for iPad OS, because honestly, the A15 joint that's in here has never given me any problems with multitasking, with editing 4K video, with, you know, batch processing multiple photos. It rips through anything that I throw at it. And to have that much power in a tablet this small that I can, you know, I can actually take this with me instead of my MacBook a lot of times, minus the keyboard, we'll talk about that in 1 second, is really, really good for me. Now, since we're on the subject of keyboards, keep in mind that Apple has not made like a keyboard case for the iPad mini 6. Now, are there some out there third-party wise? Yeah, but they didn't even put a smart connector on here. And for me, that's not like a bad thing, because I'm not using this to type on. If I want to type, I'm gonna bring out like either a bigger iPad with the Magic Keyboard, or I'm gonna just get out my freaking MacBook that's the best keyboard out there. And if I'm using a keyboard, I'm really intentional about getting that type of work done. And on my iPad mini 6, I'm not doing word processing and all of that stuff. The next thing I love about the iPad mini 6 is the Apple Pencil support. So the new iPad 10 is just weird. I know I'm off on a tangent, right? But how did that tablet come out and still use the first generation? Neither here nor there. I really love how, you know, just like every other iPad, the Pro line, the Air line, the Apple Pencil Gen 2 sits right on top. And it's kind of funny because it spans the entire like length of the iPad. But, you know, I'm cool with that. Overall, Apple Pencil support is. Now, moving on to cameras, I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a crap about iPad cameras. This thing is 12 megapixels and I've literally never used it. However, the front camera I do use all the time for center stage. So I don't know if cameras are super important to you. All I care about is good FaceTime calls on the iPad, and it excels at that. Lastly, before I wrap this up and bring it around full circle, I really like how the USB speeds on these are pretty fast. It's not the fastest port that Apple has out there, but if you transfer files back and forth, or, you know, you do any type of editing, man, the USB port on here gets it done. All right, I want to go ahead and bring this around full circle. There is no other device in Apple's lineup like the iPad mini 6. It gives you a nice balance between phone and tablet, but it gives you a tablet operating system, and it's really, really portable. And I know there's other cooler tablet devices out there like Samsung's Z Fold series, but the one key thing that these are missing for me, especially as a creator, and don't get me wrong, I love this thing, is the fact, the ecosystem. Now, if you are a content creator or a photographer or whatever, you know how important these ecosystem features are. Just having headphones that bounce from device to device, and having messages that bounce from device to device, and hitting copy on one device and having it ready to paste on the other devices, like AirDrop, all of those things as a content creator mean too much for me. So although the Z Fold 3 is fun, yo, this is still my workhorse tablet. I edit videos on it, I edit photos on it, I browse the web, I watch YouTube, I take notes, I do all of this stuff, and it gives me no issue. So for me, should you buy the iPad mini 6 in 2023? That answer is a hard yes. There's nothing else out there like it. And if you are part of the Apple ecosystem, you are doing yourself a disservice by not having one. I'm telling you. Now, there will be a link in the description, obviously, for you to cop one. It's affiliate link. So if you want to support the channel, use the links below. And I'm curious to know what y'all think down in the comments. So until next time, I'm out of here. Peace and chicken grease. Tyson Warfield. I'm out. Peace.